Let me know when you see it on YouTube.
Oh, I'm on Ancestry right now, pulling it up. Refresh that.
Okay, we are live. I see it on the YouTube. Welcome,
Yeah.
everybody. We're going to do a really quick live stream. Michelle's got some interesting information. So,
So yeah, um, I decided to, start setting in FOIA requests that were much smaller in scope since, the original one that I had submitted is taking so very long.
and
And one
these
of
are
the,
on Benjamin Paddock, just to clarify,
well, I
right?
mean, there's different ones I submitted, but the one I'm discussing today is on Benjamin Paddock, and specifically, I was asking the FBI for records of his imprisonment, any records on the escape, his time on the run, and his subsequent arrest and release. And that was it. It was just essentially it was just his time incarceration run and reincarceration and release, because I had trouble reconciling how he could escape from prison. Like half of his prison sentence was served, mind you. Federal prison time, you're doing almost all of it. There's like no, you know, percentage deduction that you get just because they're overcrowded and all that stuff. He was supposed to do 20 years.
I think
He did.
he's an informant, or was.
Well, yeah, something's going on because he escaped at 10 years, was on the run for a good number of years, finally got into a confrontation with the FBI in Las Vegas where firearms were drawn and used. And he was taken back into custody and he was released like almost immediately. Like there was no additional 10 years prison time. Plus, you would have to account for added time for the escape, added time for the attempted murder, I guess they could have charged him with for the FBI agents, and a number of, they always pad somebody's arrests, charges.
Exactly.
And I could never find anything about court documents on that or anything. Like it's just not available. I couldn't find any kind of pardons or anything presidentially that would, account for him getting out so early. So I requested that. And of all the responses that I've gotten back from the FBI, I had never gotten one that was like the one I received on this request. And let me pull it up here. The response I got from the FBI pertaining to that inquiry, it says, to the extent your request seeks records of intelligence sources, methods, or activities, the FBI can neither confirm nor deny the existence of these records pursuant to the FOIA exemptions. Um, and then it goes on to say the mere acknowledgement or existence or non-existence of such records of it in and of itself is a classified is classified fact protected by FOIA exemption B1.
I
Um,
swear that's got to be something with him being a if he's already dead and wasn't an FBI informant, they would freely give this information,
well, yeah, and it
in
says,
my
and it
opinion.
would reveal intelligent sources, methods, or activities protected by the exemption. This is a standard response and should not be read to indicate that any such records do or do not exist. However, I've never gotten one for any other request that I've ever put in. So
That's
obviously,
odd.
I hit a nerve.
You did.
Um, Requests for records about any individual watch list or watch list, the FBI can neither confirm or deny the existence of. It cannot confirm or deny individual names on watch lists or whatever lists that they have that are designated as like intelligence that they're still using or what have you. Um, and we cannot provide any requests or records about any individual, um, witness, security program records, or confirm or deny the existence of records would even exist. Um, Requests for confidential informant records will not be confirmed or denied. Um, and the mere acknowledgement of existence or non-existence of such records would reveal confidential information, identities, and information to expose law enforcement techniques and endanger the life or physical safety of individuals.
Now I've seen that come back on FOIAs before.
I've seen that too. I mean,
That's
it's
standard,
typically
yeah.
I mean, that's the one they kind of lean on. It's on, like, every single redaction. It's like, oh
In the
no.
ongoing investigation, we don't have to send you this. They send that on to
Yeah.
Ed Stephen, and it's like, well, if he's dead and the case is closed, what's the
Well, and that's the
ongoing
thing is I
investigation?
have to prove that, like, anytime I submit a request for him, I have to say, hey, he was your guys' top 10, one of your guys' top 10 most wanted. Hey, he was, he's passed away. Here's his grave information. Here's this information. And then I also add, like, the only living relatives of the person of this inquiry. And then I only list Eric Paddock and Patrick Paddock because those are the only two people that are left living in the family. Direct
Exactly. Well,
family.
directly his
Yeah, yeah.
kids.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's got nephews and shit like that, but yeah.
Yeah, there's 4 nephews that I think Eric
Well,
has.
there's a niece
Well, a
also. I've
girl,
talked to her,
yeah.
Nicole.
There's
Yeah,
a girl and then the 3 boys.
yeah, and I mean Eric's wife, and that's it. Because Patrick's not married or anything; he's a single man. So that was just interesting. There, it definitely caught my attention in terms of, like, well, you're not confirming or denying anything. However, every other request that I've put in, I've never received the non-confirmation and whatever that they just sent me. So yeah, that was interesting. We'll see what happens, but I don't expect to see much from them in terms of my request for his jail records. But what's interesting is not only was he in prison for these, like, robberies and bank robberies or what have you, but
He was like
also,
such a con man hustler.
well, more than that. I mean, there was a whole incident in Arizona in Tucson. There's a boys correction center, and he faked credentials and said he was a board licensed certified psychologist and was
Mhm.
put over all of these young adult males who were not 18 yet, who were in prison for what have you, whatever the case may be.
Well, here we
And
go back to the people that follow the child trafficking theory. That's never been like a thing I dug into, but I know a lot of other people did.
well, yeah, well, I mean, outside of that, he had a nightclub for minors. I
Right.
mean, like,
And this,
under
yeah, yeah,
21, and they called him Big Daddy. That's what they called him. That was his nickname.
that's creepy.
Super, super creepy. And it's funny because in the news article, I think it was by, gosh, I can't remember what publication it is. One of the Tucson, I think it's like Tucson Star or something like that. Like, they say it in the news article, and it just makes your skin crawl.
For people that don't know what he looks like, I'm going to play that one video that I said I had that was just like a 1 minute one. And just for people to get a look, because he's actually in it where he talks. So I figure it's kind of interesting. Just real quick, let me find it. I've got it pulled up.
You guys don't print anything. You don't tell anything but lies. You have never been on my side. Forget it.
Meet Bruce Erickson, aka Benjamin Paddock, the father of Las Vegas shooter Stephen Paddock. The older Paddock surfaced in Springfield, Oregon in the late 1970s under the Erickson alias after escaping from prison where he'd been serving a 20-year sentence for robbing a bank.
We do not run it the way they want us to.
He'd been on the lam for 10 years before being nabbed, running a bingo parlor which he'd registered as a religious institution, although authorities said it was a gambling ring.
We are simply a church, and there's no way for them to escape it.
Paddock was rearrested and sent back to prison, and after serving his time, returned to Oregon where he all but disappeared.
That tragic, ironic connection to Springfield, and his criminal past, and how his son, gets engaged in the, a weapons-related tragedy like this.
Benjamin Paddock is presumed dead, although police say they have no death record. But his legacy has resurfaced with the still unexplained actions of his son in Las Vegas on Sunday night.
Okay, I just thought that video, it stuck out in my head when we were talking on the phone earlier, and you were, doing all your digging. And I know that eventually, I mean, the tombstone was found. He's buried in oh, where did I tell you earlier? He is buried at Fort Gibson National Cemetery in Oklahoma. Which I thought it was weird that they put him in Oklahoma. But anyways, I'm gonna give the show back to you so you can keep
Yeah,
going.
I
I
just
just thought
pulled
that
up
was
the death
interesting that
record.
the guy, people that hadn't ever seen the dad in action, like speaking, that was kind of like gives you some clarity there. And then when the guy at the end had said the thing about the police had no record of his death, I thought that has
Oh,
always
I
stuck
was
in my
mistaken.
mind.
When we were talking earlier, I said he was buried in Arlington, but he wasn't. He died in Arlington, Texas, on the 18th of January, 1998, according to what was their source here? Find a Grave, and also the county registrar's office there in Texas.
Yeah, I had found I keep flashing it up on the screen. I don't know if you've noticed, but let me see again. I'll put it back up there.
Oh, and also there's a Veterans Affairs death file on him.
Yeah, here's the one I keep flashing on the screen that says where he was buried. I just found it was strange that it was Oklahoma, but he was in the Navy. And
See, but
here
this is
is a
okay. So
picture of
no, but
his
this is the thing
tombstone.
that's interesting, right? It says enlistment date is 7 January 1943. Discharge date is 8 June 1943. So that is 6 months of service. No, 5
Did he
January.
get
February.
honorably or dishonorably discharged? Did you find in your records?
No, I didn't. I didn't pull them up because it's on my other computer. I don't have access to right now. But
Gotcha.
I know that it was not honorable, but it wasn't dishonorable. So I want to say it's other than honorable, or it was a discharge like based on medical or something like that.
Well,
It's
with all
definitely
of his
something.
conning and hustling and fake IDs and all these aliases and stuff, he probably scammed his way out of the military.
Yeah, let's see.
For
Well, I mean,
doing that
he was
short of a
only there
time, he
because
still gets benefits. Yeah.
he was only there because he was drafted anyways. Let
No,
me
they didn't start the draft till Vietnam, and he was World War II.
no no no. He was. I have his draft card here
They
from
drafted
19.
from World War II. I thought
Yeah.
everyone always said Vietnam was the first time we did the draft.
No, apparently not.
Huh.
It
That's
maybe
interesting.
it's just maybe his register his because I have a photo of it. I should send it to you right now. Yeah, Benjamin Hoskins Paddock Jr. And then his address in Chicago, and then I affirm that I have been verified. Blah blah blah. He's unemployed, and his signature is it's just his registration. His what is it called? The selective service, I guess it's called registration card that you males have
Yeah,
to sign up for.
everybody when they
Yeah.
turn 18 has to do that. Um, I just pulled up something because I was doing a duck duck go. It says the draft was enacted just before World War II.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but I
But
always
the
thought
last
it was.
draft I believe we had was Vietnam. Because I don't think they drafted people for the Korean War or anything. Um, I'm gonna send you something right now as a
Oh,
matter of
I
fact.
think they did draft during the Civil War too, maybe. But definitely
I
World
think it
War
was a
II
little bit.
drafted.
No, the Civil War was completely. I mean, I know a lot about the Civil War.
Okay.
But it was essentially just like you didn't have to be drafted because at that time it was like people were still using the British pound to pay for things, and they had British soldiers on the ground, and there were a lot of people that were afraid and didn't want to rebel against them. But then you had like George Washington, who was leading soldiers, on the ground, and you had the Battle of Yorktown, you had all that good stuff, and you did have it was a full volunteer army. So if you wanted to fight, you could. And then the next huge war that we had was the Civil War. Or I was talking about no, wait, not the Civil War. Yeah, no. The Civil, or I was thinking about the original one, 1776. Sorry, I'm trying to
Oh,
send
the
you something right now.
Revolutionary War. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Civil War, I don't know if there was a draft. I think that there was
I'm
for that
looking
one.
up stuff we were talking, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm all turned around. I'm like, wait, what am I saying? Let's see here. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna send you this right now. So save and
Put the link in the StreamYard so I can pull it up.
that's on my phone. I'm on my computer. I'm gonna send it to your email.
Okay.
And this is for him. Save. Okay, and then send. I'll send it to myself first. But yeah, so no, it's just interesting. I mean, the last person, well, Patrick Paddock was in the Navy. I think he was in the Navy. And he was in for a very long time, and
Are you talking about the dad or the son?
the son, the one that's still
Okay.
alive in Tucson, he served. So I mean, but before him, it was just his grandfather that was like career.
Big Ben.
Yeah. So let's do this.
What'd you do? Send it to my email?
Yeah, I'm sending it right now. I did send it to myself first because I don't have your email memorized. Inbox. Okay, here we go. Let me forward this to you.
All right, let me pull it up. And it's going to email, right?
Yeah, I'm sending it over there. Let me go ahead and forward to.
Yeah, it didn't come yet.
Yeah. What does it start with? It's not popping up when I put in just CR. Or let me see.
Are you talking about my email?
Yeah.
CATHB.
Okay. Yeah. Now B. Why isn't it automatically pulling up? That's weird.
Mine always pulls up for you.
I usually if I just put in C, it'll pull it up, but for whatever
Oh,
reason.
you could go to the email that I sent you with the StreamYards link and just hit a reply and put the link in the
Yeah,
reply.
I'm gonna do that right now. Which is gotcha. Yeah, but that's why, because I put the Y there and there's no Y on this one. So yeah, you should have that in like 2 minutes. But that's the actual draft card. And we're gonna forward.
Yeah, it still didn't come.
Yeah, no, I'm still sending it. Because I'm a slow poke today, obviously. Inbox. And there's
Well, this was a pretty quick one because I just talked to you about an hour and a half on the phone after I talked to Matt and he said he had talked to you. So you
well,
were
the
like,
other
oh, well, if we do this, we have to do it now. So
well,
it
yeah,
was
no,
pretty quick.
the other thing that I've been kind of focusing on is the whole passport issue with Paddock's girlfriend, and because it's always bothered me that she was traveling on a Australian passport because she's like a naturalized American citizen, but apparently you can travel on both. However, you cannot enter the country that like if you can only enter the US on your US passport, you can only enter the Australia on an Australian passport. But my question is like why wouldn't they have said that she had her American passport? Why would they just report that she only had her Australian one? I don't know. It's very confusing to me
Did you
why.
send the email yet?
No, I'm still doing it.
Okay.
I got sidetracked with something
Go
really.
ahead.
I am doing it. But yeah, no. So yeah, everything is very convoluted and strange. And here we go. Okay, you should have that now any minute.
Let's see how fast Yahoo works. Well, go ahead and just keep talking about what you were talking about, and when it comes, I'll
Oh yeah,
pop it on the
because
screen.
I think I had mentioned before, like I had access to a huge database at the school I was going to at the time, and I could pull up any like newspaper articles from around the world.
Oh, I found so many articles on Daddy Paddock back when I was researching him at the beginning.
Oh yeah. Well, this I was looking at the
It never
Philippines.
came.
It should be there. It says it's sent on my end. It says it was good. Oops, let me pull it up and see if the image and stuff is there. Oh no, it went through.
I got it now. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, what was I saying? Oh, so anyway, so I was pulling up and translating different articles from Taiwan and the Philippines because that's what we were told. We were told she had gone to the Philippines and was traveling on holiday in Taiwan. I've since found articles that said, oh, no, 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 she was in the Philippines, but she was in some rural area with her shaman brother, and that's why nobody knew where she was. But we have a neighbor that says that they saw the car she was driving, so it must be true. Whatever. Um, Essentially, the news articles that I had read was, we don't know where she is. We have no record of her coming here or leaving from here. So I don't know why they're dragging us into this. And that was like Taiwan's response. And the Philippines essentially saying, we don't know where the heck she was at. So that always bothered me as well.
All right, I'm pulling up. It's kind of weird. I pulled up the draft card, but since you sent it as picture, all right, there it is. It's up on the screen, so people can look at this while you're finishing talking. I
Yeah.
can't
So
have the YouTube pulled up while this is on though, because it's just a screenshot.
oh yeah, no, it's no problem. But yeah, no. So that was it. That's the only news that I have is I was just researching the passport issue. Um, but there's just there's always more questions and answers on everything. But I know that Pointed Stick had sent out some FOIA requests also. I know he's gotten something similar for some of the things that he's requested, but myself, I've never received anything like that. So uh, yeah, it's just very bizarre. It's always
He got
more
some
questions and
weird
answers.
requests back. You wonder how many people work at that office or how many offices there are. Because everybody that's been doing them, it's like we all talk to each other, about what requests or what replies we got back. And it's
Oh,
weird
DOJ.
that they're all
Pointed
like
Stick said he.
written different.
Oh yeah, well he Pointed Stick says he went through the DOJ.
Oh, yeah, that was the crazy one. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been going through different like I haven't mentioned this either. So the gentleman that like when I had provided the documents from the FAA medical records or what have you, I've just recently spoken with the gentleman that submitted and received that FOIA from the FAA because I had some questions for him.
Yeah, we got those a long time ago. I think that guy, God, what was his name?
His
Matt?
name's Matt
Yeah, I
Felton.
thought it
Yeah.
was Matt. Yeah. And
Um,
those just kind of popped up on Scribe, and I was like, ooh. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was a
I
long
think
time ago.
like either I don't know, but I had like it was a big pain in the butt because at the time we couldn't download it as PDF, so I had to go and like screen grab every single one. It was a whole thing, but yeah, so that was that. But I finally got a chance. I had talked to him prior, like in the past, way in the past, and I was like, hey, I just wanted to touch base with you again, and we were kind of chatting a little bit. And apparently, he's got some records from another agency, but he's waiting on a buddy of his that works for one of the letter agencies to go over the documents because he said something doesn't look right with it, but he wouldn't give me any other information. Um, so I was kind of poking around trying to see if I could find another FOIA request from him anywhere, but there's so many agencies that I would have to look at. Like I just don't have the time. Like there's not enough
I
hours in the
know there
day.
gets to be so much stuff.
Yeah, and unfortunately right now he's working on some Area 51 stuff that's like taking up all his
Interesting.
time. Um he says he definitely wants to circle back to this case, but I know he's got his hands full of some stuff. I've seen other FOIA requests he's put in for the Area 51 stuff that are brilliant. So um it's pretty awesome there. But yeah,
I'm
we
gonna
definitely.
screen share and just scroll through these medical records if people don't know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah,
Um,
those were the medical records that I came across because I had a problem with the coroner's report that we had received for Paddock after his death, and I wanted to compare it to something, anything, and I had come across these files from the FAA that when you go to get your pilot's license, you get a like thorough exam. I mean, like thorough. And every time you have to have your license renewed, you have to go back and have another exam. So since Paddock had passed away, they could release these documents, and I was able to go through and see what was filled out on the paperwork in terms of height, eye color, like eye color, weight,
Eye color, weight, so much
previous
stuff was
surgery.
different with his height and his eye color on
Yeah.
these
Well,
records.
I mean, even in terms of like missing scars from surgeries, because he had his
Yeah.
like appendix removed, stuff like that.
When you compare his autopsy with things from these medical records, it just doesn't match.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous, and it's like anybody could say, "Oh, well, it was different physicians, and it's just all open to interpretation." Well, that's fine, but you don't miss major scars, and especially on a case that's getting this much like traction, that had this much publicity early on.
Exactly.
If you're
Well, I always had two things. Either it was a really lazy person that did the autopsy that wasn't real observant, or it wasn't him.
it's just not possible. I mean, I've seen my own, like my best friend's coroner's report when he passed away, and it was just like, I mean, they're all across the board very thorough. Um,
Yep,
they're very
always.
like, I mean, I don't know. It's just night and day when I look at other autopsy reports in comparison
Oh,
to this
yes,
completely.
exactly.
And the fact that they had him cremated before sending him back to his family, like without the
Yes,
family's authorization.
no one got to see him, identify his body, nothing. It's like Eric was just handed a box.
Right. So it's bizarre. I mean, I don't even know. I haven't heard a response about him seeing any of the quote unquote bullshit leaked photos and what he had to say, like in terms of like, yeah, that's him or whatever. Um,
Well, he did complete 180 from his original interviews that he did on TV, and then I was talked to him on the phone, and it's like he didn't even talk like the same story. It's almost like the FBI or somebody got to him and said, "You better lip it up," you know?
yeah, but at the same time though, I mean, it was very fresh too. I think he was in shock during like the news interview portion of it, like when it first occurred, but I don't know. I don't know the dude. He seems kind of excitable to me.
Yeah,
Like,
he definitely seems like a character. That's for
uh,
sure.
but I mean, I don't know. I don't talk to him. I don't know him. So, I couldn't, I have nothing to compare it to, but, um, yeah, it's just an odd response to it. But since then, the mom's passed away, Bruce has passed away. So it's all
I'm
very,
going through the chat saying hi to new people that have come in.
oh, Monday, Monday, I am speaking to somebody who
Who you talking to on Monday?
I can't tell you because just yet, but it has to do with the financial aspect of everything. So
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
yeah,
Everyone's been waiting for any of that stuff to come out.
yeah. So yeah, about his assets and things. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how much can be said or not because I'm not even sure what can be said or whatever because this person worked with the lawyers and stuff like that too. So I don't know if they signed an NDA or what.
Oh, yeah. I think a lot of people signed the NDAs.
Yeah, well, fortunately, this person wasn't employed by the lawyer, so it was more the courts that appointed somebody to look into some stuff. So, um, yeah, and he's taking a phone call with me because I've got information about a bunch of LLCs and stuff that I had come across. So, hopefully, potentially, more money for the victims. However, we all know how that goes because the lawyers will take their cut of an obscene like 38% or something of that money anyway.
I've been scrolling some documents on the screen while we've been talking. So if there's anybody that watches this later that doesn't have a link to these documents, the autopsy and the medical records and stuff, just leave me a comment under this video and we can get these to you. These are old and I think most of us already have them. But yeah, that'll be great after you talk to the financial person. Even if they have an NDA, are they allowed to like kind of secretly
Well, I
talk
don't
to
know.
you?
This guy's ancient. He just had a heart attack, so I don't really think he gives two shits about an NDA.
Oh, good. Perfect.
You know,
And what day are you meeting with him?
Monday, I'm gonna talk to him. Yeah,
Perfect.
Yeah, no, the question I had, the reason I was contacting Matt Fellon though about that FOIA is because I was like, did you notice that his like Paddock wrote out his social security number, but then on the actual medical paperwork, it's a different social security number altogether.
Yes.
And there are no social security numbers that begin with 999. Like it's just not a thing. But I was like, but wouldn't the
Exactly. I
rest of
think
it match?
Pal and I talked about that before, and a bunch of people did research. Jay Gunderson did research on that. She's passed away, and I think 4RE, the United States, did a bunch of research, and it's like there's no 999.
Oh yeah, who's saying? Oh, Chris Thompson was saying about the toxicology report uh was suspect also. And what's interesting about that is um for life insurance policies primarily, like they want to know if you were a smoker and stuff. It doesn't say nicotine on the toxicology report. It comes down to two chemicals that they test for that would, show that you'd been
Yeah, my
around
doctors probably tested me
around
for that shit since I have lung
yeah.
cancer, and I must admit I do cheat when I'm under stress. Every once in a while, I'll go grab a pack of cigarettes. So I'm
That's
sure that they're
terrible.
sneaking in.
Well, the thing was is there was none in Paddock's blood. None at all whatsoever. And if you're
Yeah,
playing in
but
a
he didn't
casino,
smoke, did he?
it doesn't matter.
Oh,
You're in a
you're right.
casino.
He's gonna get all the secondhand.
And he was just down to gambling the entire night before. So why wouldn't he have secondhand smoke? Mandalay Bay is a huge, like it's one of the last casinos that allow, well, a lot of the strip casinos allow smoking still, but like all these new establishments don't. And they're trying to phase it out because everybody vapes and that's pretty much it. But there was none. There's no notation of it at all whatsoever. And that
That
bothered
is
the
strange
shit out
though,
of me.
because the secondhand smoke, you're right, because they ask me every time I go to a doctor's appointment, is anyone in your house smoking? Are you in the car with anyone? Because they want to make sure, because of my lung cancer, that I'm not around any smoke. And I'm thinking, well, if they're asking all that crap, it's like that secondhand smoke must definitely affect people.
Yeah, and it'll stay in your system for 3 days. So yes, pasta sauce and potentially
Hello,
pasta.
LVSA.
I
You're not
Potentially
at work?
pasta.
I am not.
No, he's got the day off.
Thank the good
Does he want
Lord.
to jump on here with us?
No, he's going to the store because I'm making dinner. But yeah, make sure she didn't eat all the pasta and pasta sauce, and that's it. You're my hero. He's flipping me off.
Are the kids getting into food, and then when you go to make dinner, you don't have the right stuff there?
My kid subsists on what she calls garlic pasta. It's just pasta with butter and garlic salt. It's like God, like the least healthy option ever. But yeah, she'll go in there and make some, and like I go in there to make pasta for the family. And I'm like, where did it go?
Oh my god,
So
I have like 20 boxes of spaghetti in my cupboard.
yeah, so I'm making pasta tonight for everybody.
I stock up. I'm like one of those preppers for the apocalypse. And then when they started with the diesel stuff, my cousin called me and goes, "The food's going to end. You better go stock up on everything you can
Yeah,
because the trucks aren't going to be able to move the stuff." So yeah, I literally have like boxes of stuff, cases of water. I mean, I used to always collect stuff anyways. But when the economy started going to hell and these trucks and the diesel and all that, it's like I stocked on way more. And my son was laughing. He goes, "Are we going to be stuck eating like dried beans and rice?" And I'm like, "Oh no, Mama's got good stuff put away. We got Rice Krispie treats and
yeah.
cookies and all kinds of good stuff." Because I
Winco's
always
selling
have to
tubs.
rotate. I have to rotate the food. And years
Mm,
ago when I saved it, I was like throwing out food because I was like, I'm not eating this garbage just to get rid of it, even though I had it stocked up. So now I stock up on stuff that I like. I mean, I
yeah.
got like jars of peanut butter
Winco has
some
like
days, different
like
shelves.
month supplies for two people now, like on the regular shelves. It's very post-apocalyptic. But
Yep.
yeah, no. Yeah, some of that stuff never expires. Yeah, no, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't expire. It kind of grosses you out because I don't know. Like, would you like some chemicals for dinner? Sure.
Well, the funny thing is sometimes when I was rotating my stock, I was like, kind of like not looking at the labels and this and that. So I called my daughter one time and I'm like, look, just for your information, if you eat soup that is 5 years past the expiration date, you won't get sick. She's like, well, how do you know that? And I'm like, because I've been eating it, trying to rotate my stock and wasn't really looking at the date. I was just eating the oldest stuff first. And I never got sick. The kids are like, Mom, you're going to end up with food poisoning
Not if
eventually. And
you
I'm like,
boil it
well,
long enough.
I think that this canned good stuff is good way longer than what they say.
Yeah. The Social Security had something to do with the business ID. Oh, the LLC. It probably, yeah, he's got a billion LLCs. I wonder how many actual business licenses he had, though.
Are we talking about Dad now or
Hmm.
Steven?
Oh no, no, yeah, Stephen Paddock. I was reading
Okay.
one of Pointed Stick's comments. Yeah, I don't know, but I don't think I've ever seen the IRS, what is it, what do they call it, tax ID that starts with 999 either. I mean, it really doesn't matter. Um, I had seen him apply for a different Social Security number through the Social Security Administration, but uh, Benjamin Paddock had done the same thing also. I don't know. There's a lot of things that correlate between those two, and for them to say, or for anyone to say that they didn't have any communication, I just don't buy it. I just don't.
Oh, I think they had communication. There was too much stuff that both of them did. I mean, it's possible, you get the gene to be like hustler, con man, criminal, whatever, but it's like I don't think so. I think that him and his dad had communication.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, I had done a timeline of
He
Paddock's
wanted
life.
to top his dad. I mean, one of those reports came out. I don't remember if it was the FBI report or whatever that had come to the conclusion that it's like he wanted to like go out with a bang, top, anything his dad could have done. So maybe the talk in their house growing up, was, oh, dad's, like maybe they looked at him like a hero because he did all this shit, and then he wanted to top him.
No, I don't think. I mean, I talked to one of Paddock's childhood, like an actual friend. Like he used to go away with them on the weekends and things, like because they both had a common interest in astrology, and they would go out with their telescopes and look at the stars and all this other stuff. So like they do like long weekends in Joshua Tree and stuff like that. And um, at that point, I think that there was still a lot of trauma there from the dad just going away or what have you, or possibly things that happened prior to him being arrested. But as for the little kids, I don't think that there was much interaction at all. I think Eric probably met him a handful of times. The only one that I think would really have had any interaction with him is Steven, and he falls off the radar when he's supposedly at um, UC or Cal State Northridge uh, College.
Yeah,
He
he did. He fell off the radar
Yeah,
until
well
we
there was
found
like
these
a
medical
three
records later. He was like, there's that
Well, yeah, there was
big
like a not just a gap year, there was like a 3-year period where he just falls off the radar before he goes back to college. And at the time he's 19, that's when he buys his first apartment complex and a house. Well, where did he go for 3 years? What was he doing for money? And what
getting
19-year
money
old?
from dad. Yes.
That's kind of what I have a feeling also.
Yeah. Con man daddy put away some money and paid the kids, I think,
I don't
to
know.
get him a start.
I feel like I don't know. I think that maybe he thought like Steven was like, "Oh, this is my legacy." Um because he's the smart one or whatever. I have no
Yeah, he
idea.
was extremely intelligent. Yeah.
I can't stand speculation, so I'm not gonna sit here and speculate. But I mean,
Well, even Eric had said, Steve helped make us rich and da 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 da. And Eric, I think someone had looked into it and it's like he didn't have that great of a job. So I have a feeling that he helped his
well, I mean,
family out quite
when
a
you
bit
look at
financially.
there's a website where you can look at LLCs and like on one of these websites it has like you look up one of the businesses or what have you, and then it on the bottom of the screen it would have a list of other filings from that exact day or whatever, and there would be like 20 or 30 of them, all like slightly different, like different middle names or different arrangement of like, middle name first name
Are
middle,
you talking about
that kind of
Dad or
stuff.
Steven?
Stephen and Eric,
Okay,
or
because
well, Eric also.
the dad did the mix up the names too, and he
Yeah, yeah,
always
yeah.
used his kids' names for all his aliases, but it was always their first and middle names all mixed up.
Right. Well, I looked up a number of these businesses and they have like only an annual profit of like $20,000 or $30,000, but there's like so many of them. But that $20,000 or $30,000 falls under the reporting requirement for the IRS. So if you're a business and you only make $20,000 a year, you're not required to file taxes or what have you. So I think that's
Right.
where a lot
Well,
of the
the
money is
thing
getting
is
hidden.
real estate and gambling are like huge ways to launder money
Yeah, but
and
you
clean
look at
your money.
his gambling, and he's breaking even 99.9% of the time, but he's using these comps or what have you to like reconcile going. So
Right.
like, yeah, if you're gonna give me the two-story suite over at Tropicana, I don't mind breaking even, making nothing. And
Well, I'm
you
like
know,
that when I go gambling too. It's like when I go to Vegas, it's like I have my certain amount in my pocket. And it's like I don't expect to leave with it. I just want it to last for the time that I'm there having fun.
yeah, LPSA does not gamble. And we were down with a pointed stick actually, and we had $100 each, and we are gonna go play the machines. LVSA puts $100 in the machine, and I'm playing on my machine. I'm looking over, and I'm like, holy shit, he just won $1,000. I swear to God, I looked at my machine for 2 seconds. I looked back over, and he's like 0, 0, 0, 0, and I was like, dude, you just lost $1,000. He's like, wasn't mine to begin with. And I was like, holy shit. I don't know what he did, but he's not a gambler. So you can win it fast, you can lose it faster, I guess.
Sanders says that he's at the grocery store. He's listening while shopping. Got you guys on speakerphone. The clerk at the counter says multiple shooters. Tell the clerk I'm with her.
Oh, you're in Arizona. Are you in Arizona? I think you're in
Yeah,
Arizona.
he's
That
Arizona.
makes sense. I miss Arizona sometimes. I just left
I
one
used to live
desert
in
for another.
Arizona too. My youngest son was born there. We were in Tucson.
Yeah, so was I. I was up
Isn't that where Patrick lives? The one
yeah,
son, the oldest
yeah, he
son?
used to come he went to the post office I worked at. He was a customer.
Jacob's new. I don't know Jacob. Jacob, are you in
Arizona.
related to the Paddock family? Because
Oh.
there's a Jacob. He's probably not. But
Chris Johnson's like, ha
I
ha
figured
ha
it
ha.
was funny, are the Paddocks in here watching us?
Dude, I'm telling you, like, when I lived in, like, there's been a couple, no, well, there's one main place where, like, Paddock's mom, I guess, or somebody, the one that was in Cerritos on Fallbrook, like, lived next door to my boyfriend in high school. So, like, I could have seen him. I probably did see him. Like,
Well, they did some research a while back of all of his addresses and stuff, and it was really coincidental that years ago, Paladin actually lived in the same apartment complex that Paddock had lived in at one time, and I don't think they lived there at the same time. But I thought that was really weird. Like how many of us have lived by somebody that we didn't really know at the
yeah, my
time until
grandpa,
later.
because my family owned a restaurant in Long Beach, California, and during the riots, my grandpa has a news article right by the news article that has Paddock protecting his like apartments or whatever with a rifle or whatever. There's like right next door to it is my grandpa's article about him being in the restaurant like armed just in case shit went down in Long Beach. I was like, what the heck? Like this weirdest like serendipity stuff that comes out. So yeah, it's weird. You grew up in Vegas? Jacob did.
Yeah. He just found this about a month ago. I've got a
I'm
playlist on
sorry.
my channel, Jacob, with a bunch of Las Vegas videos and another playlist with cell phone videos. But if you haven't found all the body cam and stuff, Las Vegas Shooting Archive YouTube channel has all of that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull the link up to that just to put it in here. Cause yeah, he's
You
got
ever want your eyes
everything.
to bleed? Dude, we were trying to get through that shit so fast because it would just drop like 50 hours on us. And then we're like, okay, well, next week we're going to have the same amount.
I know they dropped the dumps, and the funny thing is I had sent away to here's the link to Las Vegas Shooting Archives YouTube channel, and he has got literally everything saved. But
Yeah.
I sent away to the police department I had to send him a 1 terabyte hard drive to get all the stuff that they had
Yeah.
given LVSA, and then we were comparing it because he was getting it weekly. Every
Yeah,
week we
yeah.
had to
Him
go in and
and
get it. So like we were going
Wego.
through it like to make sure we were hoping there would be new stuff on it, but it's like it was exactly the same stuff he got.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I don't discourage anybody from like requesting stuff from the FBI, because sometimes they won't, like, if you word your request differently, it won't get flagged as a duplicate. So they will send you stuff and it may be different than the stuff that was sent out before. So yeah.
Yeah, Jacob was, talking about how much stuff it is. It's like literally those of us, and I think most of the people that are still following the chats and stuff, have been on this since like day one and have actually
Yeah.
read everything we get our hands on, watched everything that there is, and it is so much information. It's almost exhausting. And it's funny because like people every once in a while will say, "Well, do you have a link to this? Do you have the PDF to that?" And it's like
Somewhere.
I'm like on my fourth phone and my third computer since this all started, and it's like I literally have to
I
dig through
know,
flash
God.
drives if somebody wants something. And a lot of times I'm like, okay, how important is this for me to dig up? Because it's literally going to take 4 hours for me to find this for you.
Jacob,
So it's
yeah.
kind of funny.
Jacob says, "I can't believe Lombardo won." It's so funny
Oh, I
when I
know.
saw when I saw
I
it, I
can't
sent
believe it.
LVSA a GIF of Kermit the Frog, all excited. Because does anybody notice that Lombardo sounds like Kermit the Frog's like uncle? It's but I was like, he won, and McMahill
I
won sheriff.
I cannot believe those two, as dirty as they were or whatever, mixed up in this crap. Well, I almost crapped when Sisolak became governor, and now
Well,
Lombardo is. It's like let's just move on up the chain. Which one of you criminal, crooked, whatever liars are going to end up being president?
I should have recorded them. I don't know how many people are Vegas locals, but holy balls, the commercials for Lombardo's like, Lombardo will give you a gun and your kids a gun and your baby a gun, and you can.
Oh, I know. I saw all those commercials and stuff they did.
Yeah, I was just like, how is he on that like platform, like what? But yeah, Chris Thompson says, yeah,
Oh,
he does.
he used to. When I was researching him a long time ago, he used to be really involved in going to places like where kids were, gang stuff, and
Mm,
giving speeches and I don't know what you'd call it, little pep talks or whatever. But he was really big on the self protection and home protection and don't use your guns,
yeah.
to fight and da 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 da. But
Oh, and an
he
unrelated
was big
story.
on that.
Well, unrelated but kind of related. So like I had started going to this gym over by before we moved. And there was an officer, not an officer, he was no longer an officer, but I fucking made him cry because I said Stephen Paddock's name and he lost his shit. He's like, you know how long it took me to repress that name? And like, but yeah, no, but that guy ended up being like fired for like supplying methamphetamine to an informant and having sex with her and stuff. So yeah, that's just Vegas. They, they just make great choices here. But yeah, I don't know. Craziness. But yeah, he had no information for me because LVSA laughs at me because no matter where I go, I was like, "Where were you on the night of October 1st, 2017?"
I was down the street from the shooting, but I'm so glad that I wasn't on the strip. We were supposed to be on the strip. It was my last night there. And we went to dinner, and then my one brother got sick, and he's like, I just want to go back to the hotel. And it's like, I wanted to do usually on my last night there, it's like, I go by the Bellagio, watch the light show, the water, and
Yeah,
and because he was
I'm
sick,
telling
we
you, I
weren't
was
there.
supposed
But
to.
we got done with dinner at like 8:30, and we
Yeah,
probably would have stayed down on the strip till about midnight. So it's like we would have been down roaming around during all this crap. So I'm kind of glad that
yeah, I was supposed to
we're
be at the
not.
Tropicana at 9:30. So, and I fell asleep. So, yep, I guess
I'm
I
gonna
got lucky.
share something on the screen that is from, I don't know, you guys can probably see all my pictures. This is really funny. This
Oh,
is
oh,
when
oh, wait.
Lombardo was running
Oh,
for
yeah.
re-election, not for the governor, but
Oh,
before.
for
I
the
think it
sheriff.
was Loomer that went down the strip and put these posters everywhere.
Probably fucking
So
blue. Choose something else.
yeah, there was a video, and I've got it saved somewhere, of like someone walking down the strip filming all this, and it's like these are all those little like parking things so that you
Mm-hmm.
don't crash into people on the strip. And these stickers and posters were like everywhere all the way. And then he still got reelected for sheriff, and now he's governor. So that's kind of just makes me sick.
Seventh, and I'm going to comment on your last comment in just a second, but also because, well, what I'm assuming is because we were in an election cycle this year on October 1st, there were about 15 or 16 of us down there, and that was it. They had decided to put on this special concert somewhere across the
Oh,
city,
I remember because you were going to live stream for us that night, and then we were,
and nobody was there. There was
yep.
very, very few people there. But Seventh Son, yeah, elevated. Yeah, I was always like, well, how would they get away though? Like, but you know what dawned on me last night as I was in the bathtub, as I was like, holy balls! I was like, there's access to the tunnels, damn near everywhere at the end of the
Oh,
strip over there by
there
that.
was so much stuff with the tunnels. And whether, I remember at the beginning people were talking about like, okay, could multiple shooters have escaped through there? And then Jake Morphinios, who kind of like did the disappearing act that covered Vegas a lot at the beginning, had gone
Yeah,
down and talked to some of the tunnel people. And I've never gone in the tunnels. Have you, since you've lived there?
I've talked to some of the people. No, I don't go down to the tunnels, but
I want to go in them
okay,
and
like I'll
actually
tell you
go
what,
down
like
and through them just for fun.
when LVSA and I first moved in together, like we did not have money like at the time. So we ended up moving into what's called Naked City. It's located directly behind the Stratosphere. Like literally the first day I went there, I thought somebody was committing suicide. I did not realize that they had like bungee jumping off the side of the building, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Somebody just jumped off the side of the building. But it is like,
Jacob had mentioned, I just want to interrupt for a minute about
uh-huh,
Too Bad Loomer's videos are gone. There's a lot of people who like lost channels and lost videos and stuff. But just so people know, if you're ever hunting for a video, leave a comment and let me know, because a lot of these videos we mirrored and we don't actually have
yeah.
them listed because there's a reason they got taken down. But we do have them saved and we can get you copies of them.
Loomer Loomer just had a complete emotional breakdown. I seen on TikTok
Yeah.
also. She lost her complete shit. But yeah,
My
anyways,
pointed stick, glad you stopped by.
living on that side of town though is where all the access, okay, on either end of the strip when you're at the Stratosphere or you're over by the Hollywood sign. I'm sorry. The Welcome to Las Vegas sign. Those are kind of the two main inlets and outlets for the tunnels. They also run completely under Las Vegas Boulevard, and they branch out like blocks to either side and throughout the city or what have you. Um, so yeah, I mean, just about any of the 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 people that are, they're homeless or whatever in the area I was living, all those people live in the tunnels.
Well,
And
the thing with the tunnels, I mean, when you go back and research, the thing with the tunnels was, I mean, originally Vegas was like made by the mob, and set up by the mob. And these guys didn't want to be seen going in and out of casinos, but they were really, really rich. So
yeah,
folklore has it that a lot of those tunnels were put in so that they could shovel money in and out and do their illegal stuff and get in the back doors of the casinos. So I'm not so sure how true that is, but that was what I found when I was researching about where these
I wouldn't
tunnels
doubt it.
originally came
I wouldn't
from. I
doubt it
mean,
because
some of them are
otherwise,
probably just storm drains, but
from a security standpoint, is the most insane thing in the world to have tunnels running through someplace where you're supposed to have very secure.
well,
So I'm
I
sure that
had read when I was doing research that under the Bellagio, there's a tunnel that there's like a little train or tram or something that'll take you out to one of those air bases. And all
well,
the
there,
people
you
that
know
work
that
out
underneath.
there every day have to like go get on their little train, and it's like hidden underneath the Bellagio.
I'm sure it is. I mean, underneath McCarran, which is now Harry Reid Airport, they have a full fucking subway underneath it. I had no clue until like one of the last times I flew into California.
Yeah,
I,
we did a whole bunch of research, a group of us a long time ago, about like these tunnels and where they were and where they went to and stuff. And it was kind of freaky.
but realistically, like if we're not talking Las Vegas Boulevard, we're talking Dean Martin, which runs directly behind Mandalay Bay. Um, it is literally a 2-minute drive from the parking structure to two different entrances of the 215 freeway, which is the one that goes to LA or Oregon. Oh, wait, Oregon, LA, or Reno. I
I
mean,
got
it
a
kind of goes
question
everywhere.
for you.
Huh.
Someone told me that they were building a professional ballpark. Are they
Wh-
building a baseball stadium and buying a baseball team like they did the
they're
Raiders?
talking about bringing the Oakland A's out here because they want to steal all of Oakland's teams.
I can't believe they stole the Raiders. I used to
Yeah,
live in California too,
well,
and they
Allegiant
were like the
Stadium.
best team, and so now they want the A's.
Yeah, the Oakland A's.
Why do they want to get everyone from Oakland just because Oakland's such a shitty place?
I don't know if it's coincidence or whatever, but it's
Well,
bullshit because we
Oakland's
already have
run
enough.
by the
We're
Hells
full.
Angels. That's
We
their
don't
home
need
base.
anybody else out here. We're done. There's no more room in Vegas at all.
No more
Luckily, we.
water. They need
Oh
some
yeah,
water.
yeah, yeah, yeah. There's the water company drives around our streets and makes sure we're like we don't have hoses running and stuff right now. It's so
Oh,
bad.
when I lived in Tucson, it was a thing where it's like they had the even and odd for your address. And if they caught you watering or washing your car or anything on a day you weren't allowed to, they would
Mhm.
like ticket you. Was it
Yeah,
like that when you were in
yeah,
Tucson?
that's how it is right now. I mean, if you saw Lake Mead, I mean, I wouldn't. I don't know. What sucks is Lake Mead is like where they get some of our drinking water from, and there's so many dead bodies in there. It's like, how much dead body is enough? Like, what is the limit of dead body? Like, what
I
is the water
remember,
to dead
wait, I
body?
saw a video not too long ago about because the water was going down in that lake, the bodies were starting to surface all over. And I saw this video and I was like, that is disgusting.
Yeah, yeah. They found like the police departments are offering us $5,000 a body that we found right now that we find right now. So I was like, I'm gonna get my scuba license.
Wait
I
a
could
minute.
totally do
So
that.
you can go find a body because they want the bodies cleaned out of there, so they're paying people to get them?
Well, no, these are all cold cases or cases that have not even
So they want
brought
the
up.
bodies so that they can close cases? I'm just figuring out why
Yeah,
are they
well,
paying
yeah,
5 grand a body?
they're offering 5 grand a body. Yeah,
Oh,
and
I would
like
go do that for 5 grand a
they found
body.
like two or three, and then they just recently found a foot or something. Uh,
Yeah, a lot of them probably were murder victims, especially back in the mob days where it's like, I mean, I wonder if any of these bodies have like cement shoes on them or anything.
fish. He used to do like fishing channels, but like they're keeping track of like how low the water's going. And there's like an office building or something like up on these pillars, and like you look at pictures from like the 1980s, and the water it's level with the water. Now it's like 300 feet below or above the
Wow.
water. It's insane. Like we're getting to the point where they're like,
It's
well, we're
getting
gonna have to.
serious dangerous with the like if they don't get a plan B going, which they should have 20 years ago to get more water into there, it's like
Well, there's
Vegas
no
could
way
dry
because
up.
we're not the only ones that get water because it's coming from the Colorado River, I want to say, or
Yeah,
something
the
like that.
Colorado River runs through where my dad lives. He's like right where California, Arizona, and
Yeah.
Nevada all join, like down near Laughlin, and it's like
Mm.
the Colorado River runs through there, and that's where they get their water.
Right. And we're selling water to somebody apparently, but the other issue that we have is like we get it like the abundance of our energy from Hoover Dam. And they're gonna like there is one water intake that's like at the very, very bottom of the lake. So it's completely submerged, but there's other water intake that are not submerged anymore. So they cannot bring the water up.
Huh.
So yeah, it's just a cluster F down here. And then if it rains for 15 minutes, like hundreds of people in the tunnels die because of the flash
Oh
flood.
yeah, because the flash floods go running through them. I remember when I lived in Arizona, it, like never ever ever rained. But when we first moved there, I was really young, like early 20s. There were these big, like they looked like dry riverbeds. They were all over the place. And I
Yeah,
told her, I'm
yeah,
like, why are these ugly things everywhere? She goes, oh, because if it rains for 15 minutes, they turn into rivers for 2 days.
yeah. I
She
mean,
goes,
there's
don't ever
pictures
drive
on,
your car down there or go play down there. And I'm like, are you serious? And
there's
the
videos
first time
on
there was a
YouTube.
monsoon, it was like that. And I was like, whoa, we had a
Yeah.
river. And 2 days later, the water was gone.
Well, last time it rained for about an hour, and there's videos on YouTube you can pull up of Planet Hollywood, the north end of the strip, and a couple different ones where like roofs caved in. Like one of the theaters, like it wasn't Michael, maybe it was one of the Bellagio theaters, was completely like it was like if it was under the ocean and the ocean was spilling into it. It was terrible.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
Yeah, we don't even leave the house if it starts to drizzle because like we're not built for water irrigation. Like we cannot redirect the water. We're just like, no, we're staying up.
Stay in the house. Hope it doesn't fill.
But yeah, no, but hey, I gotta get going because I've gotta cook dinner for the family and they're gonna starve
Well,
to death.
I'm glad that you came on. Thank you so much. And
Yeah.
when you get that other information and the financials or whatever, we'll have to do this again.
Oh yeah, I'll be
And
more available
I've
for a little bit. But yeah, so
I've got a video I'm gonna end with. It doesn't really have anything to do with Paddock. I made it a long time ago. It's called San Diego Steve, and it was this guy in 2019, so it was after the shooting in Vegas, that put a helmet cam on and was doing all this weird crap with guns in his hotel room in San Diego. So I'm just gonna play that at the end, and then when that's done playing, we will be done, and Michelle's gonna go make dinner. And thank you for coming on, Michelle, and thanks everyone for being in the chat.
yeah, thanks. Bye, Chris, and everybody that I always mean to frickin' message and I just don't because I'm a terribly busy person. But like I said, I'll be available for the next couple weeks at least. So if anybody wants to talk to me, talk to me.
Okay, thanks for coming on.
Cool. Talk to you later.
All right, I'm gonna
Bye.
play that video, guys, and then it's really a funny, interesting kind of video. And then when that's over, I'll just end the stream. Enjoy dinner, Michelle. Okay, I'm gonna screen share this video, and it is really interesting. That's why I had saved it a long time ago, just because it's really weird. I'm not sure if it's up on your screen or not yet. And when this is over, we'll be done.
More to go.
What do you do with this? What? Look at that. Jams. Boom. Shoots nothing. Ah, yes. One down. More to go. What's this? What's this? How do we operate? How do we operate around here? How do we operate? How do we operate? Flatline. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true at all. How do we operate around here? You drop one mag. You pick up another, right? And you pick up another. You're just supposed to keep going on, right? Then you drop it. Like that. You drop the gun. Pick up another gun. You know what do you do? What do you do? This is what you do. Boom.
begin this half hour with the frightening video inside a downtown hotel room and the East County man now in jail because of it.
This is just astounding. Members of the FBI joint terror arrested the suspect yesterday. The big question right now, was this a prelude to a domestic terrorist attack right here in our own city? It's the question now at the heart of a fast-moving investigation. It's also a story NBC7 investigates, just uncovered today. Stephen Luke reports from downtown. Some of the critical evidence already collected in this case comes from inside the Sophia Hotel behind me. It sits here in the heart of downtown San Diego, just across the street from the Federal Building.
Look at that. Jams. Boom. Shoots nothing. Ah, yes.
This video posted to YouTube in September shows a man walking room to room, talking to himself while picking up multiple guns, including assault weapons later identified as illegal in California, and then pulling the trigger on empty chambers. The bizarre sequence including shots of a mannequin head on a couch, a bottle of liquor in his hand, and ammunition scattered all over the floor. According to a search warrant uncovered by NBC7 Investigates, the suspect is 30-year-old Steve Homoki of Spring Valley, who booked a room at the hotel for one night back in March. One of the lead investigators calling it a rehearsal of a mass shooting attack. We showed the video to Homoki's neighbors.
Crazy. Good thing they got him.
Neighbors say dozens of officers surrounded this house Thursday and confiscated gun after gun from inside.
It was like a carnival here with police, most of them plainclothes.
According to the search warrant, Homoki has 14 firearms, all purchased between February of last year and May of this year. Investigators also went in for computers, phones, and documents, part of the effort to understand exactly who they're dealing with. But police say none of this would have happened if not for an anonymous online tip. Someone who knew Homoki through an online social media platform for video gamers contacted the FBI National Threat Operations Center this past weekend. The tip said he's gone off the deep end and fears that he is planning something, also adding he's slowly becoming less stable.
They were instrumental in letting us know what was happening.
Sergeant Matthew Botkin calls it a textbook see something, say something response, which in this case prompted immediate attention.
By the very nature of the tip and what it was about, we knew that we had to move quickly, and we did.
Steve Homoki is in jail right now on 3 felony weapons charges and a couple of misdemeanors, including willful child cruelty. He's set to be arraigned on Monday. Reporting from downtown, Stephen Luke, NBC7.
And neighbors told us Steve Homoki keeps very much to himself. They don't know much about him. They did say he shares the home with a woman and 3 children.
What do you do with this? What? Look at that. Jams. Boom. Shoots nothing. Ah, yes. One down. More to go. What's this? What's this? How do we operate? How do we operate around here? How do we operate? How do we operate? Flatline. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true at all. How do we operate around here? You drop one mag, you pick up another, right? Then you pick up another. You're just supposed to keep going on, right? Then you drop it. Like that. You drop the gun, pick up another gun. You know what do you do? This is what you do. Boom.
Brian, within 72 hours, the suspect was arrested. We spoke with a security expert who says it's important for the public to report disturbing videos and for hotel staff to remain alert for suspicious behavior. Meanwhile, the suspect exclusively told News 8 he didn't want to hurt anyone.
One down. More to go.
Steve Homoki told News 8 in an exclusive jailhouse interview he never intended to hurt anyone when he made 2 YouTube videos showing him armed and pointing a gun at people walking below.
Obviously, looking back, it does look like if anybody else were to see it, it doesn't look good. But besides that, it seems to me they got blown out of proportion.
But threat assessment professional Hal Godarzi says the potential for harm is real.
He was practicing, or maybe for real, it was a fantasy that he was playing out.
The videos show a person surrounded by dozens of bullets and holding at least 2 assault-style weapons. Police say they found even more at Homoki's Spring Valley home. The videos are reminiscent of the Las Vegas shooting that left 58 people dead, while Homoki tells us that wasn't his intention.
I would ever try to target anybody.
Godarzi says it's a reminder for hotel staff to remain alert.
I don't know the circumstances, but let's assume that he did the same thing as Vegas. Over 2 or 3 days, he moved a whole bunch of suitcases into the room. That's kind of hard to do without someone noticing something unusual.
You drop one mag, you pick up another, right?
The videos were posted in September. Homoki says they were sent to private, but at some point were made public. Police praised the anonymous tipster who brought the videos to their attention.
If it had come closer together and had not been reported, no telling what could have happened. And it very probably saved some lives.
Prosecutors will arraign Homoki tomorrow afternoon, where we expect we'll learn new information about this case.
So the link to that San Diego Steve is in the description of this video. If anyone ever wants to watch it again, I had it on my channel a long time ago just because I found it really interesting. And there's also a link to that short little clip I played showing Daddy Paddock. Actually, I'll show that again once more because we have new people in here that weren't in here before, and it's kind of an interesting one. It's just real short, like a minute. Let's see, we'll get back to the beginning.
You guys don't print anything. You don't tell anything but lies. You have never been on my side. Forget it.
Meet Bruce Erickson, aka Benjamin Paddock, the father of Las Vegas shooter Stephen Paddock. The older Paddock surfaced in Springfield, Oregon in the late 1970s under the Erickson alias after escaping from prison where he'd been serving a 20-year sentence for robbing a bank.
We do not run it the way they want us to.
He'd been on the lam for 10 years before being nabbed, running a bingo parlor which he'd registered as a religious institution, although authorities said it was a gambling ring.
We are simply a tray for them to escape it.
Paddock was rearrested and sent back to prison, and after serving his time, returned to Oregon where he all but disappeared.
That tragic, ironic connection to Springfield, you know, and his criminal past and how his son, you know, gets engaged in the, you know, a weapons-related tragedy like this.
Benjamin Paddock is presumed dead, although police say they have no death record. But his legacy has resurfaced with the still unexplained actions of his son in Las Vegas on Sunday night.
Okay, what I found so interesting about that was that the police had no death record. I thought that was really, really weird. Anyways, that's all we've got. Michelle can only be on here for a little while. Earlier, if you guys missed the beginning, Michelle had some information about Daddy Paddock. That's why we kind of were talking about that. So, anyways, with that, I'm going to close and tell everyone good night. And if I don't talk to you again, have a great Thanksgiving. I went shopping today. My counter is loaded with stuff. But also, Matt and I might go live tomorrow. He's been working like constantly. So I talked to him earlier, and we might do a quick live tomorrow because he wanted to go over some police reports from the shooting. But I'm not sure if we're going to yet or not. I'll know tomorrow afternoon. So, everybody, thank you for watching and have a good night. And if you missed the beginning, watch again. Thanks. Bye, everybody.